Married for 7 years. The sentence Lathina likes to say to me the most is, "Get out of my house." She is absolutely certain that I am alone in this city. So no matter how ambiguously she behaves with others, I would never dare to mention divorce. But, when she got entangled in rumors with that male assistant for the 8th time, and once again pointed at the door, telling me to get out, I no longer endured like before, but directly started packing my belongings. The comment text before my eyes scrolled by very quickly. Brother, don't be angry. The female lead is just cold on the outside but warm on the inside. She cares about you deeply in her heart. Male lead. Turn back. Just look at her once. She will cry. Immediately, my hands paused while arranging the luggage. The door behind me opened at just the right moment. Latina grasped the door handle and called my name. Bach. But as soon as she saw the suitcase at my feet, she choked on her words. Her eyes suddenly lifted to look at me. Then she sneered coldly. Well done. You've improved this time, haven't you? You know how to be tough now. Get out quickly. Don't disturb my rest. My whole body stiffened, but I did not turn around. Only the speed of packing became faster. Those lines of text jumped out again. Brother, turn around and look at her. Her tears are about to flow. As long as you turn back, she will definitely rush over to hug and kiss you. What happens next doesn't need me to say. Right, I dare to guarantee. Right now in her heart she is screaming. Please don't go. I stared blankly at these lines, feeling that even breathing had become difficult. From dating to marriage, she had pushed me away time and time again, and I was like an indestructible toffee, thick-skinned and persistently clinging back. I had lived like this for 7 whole years. I remember one time we argued. She mocked me. Jang Bok, do you even know how to write the 2 words self-respect? She completely did not understand. Loving someone is inherently an act of abandoning self-respect. But now, I truly no longer had the strength to continue loving. I closed the suitcase, zipped it and lifted it, walked straight past Lathina, opened the door and stepped out without looking back. When going downstairs, those lines of text scrolled before my eyes again. It's over. Big Brother is really angry. This time, if the female lead doesn't chase after him, she will never be able to coax her husband back. Why is the female lead just standing on the balcony like the statue of Wong Fu? He is about to leave the apartment complex. I was trying to suppress the urge to look back, when the phone rang piercingly. The 3 words Lathina on the screen made my heart tighten, but my hand uncontrollably slid to answer. Lathina's voice on the phone was cold as ice. That bedside decoration. Do you still need it? If not, I'll throw it away. This sentence was like a boulder smashing into my heart, painful to the point I almost suffocated instantly. The decoration Lathina mentioned was a pair of small ceramic dolls that we made with our own hands on our first date. Under the base were the names of each other engraved by our own hands. The heart surrounding the name was originally insisted on being drawn by her. Over the years, no matter how fiercely we argued, she had never touched that pair of dolls. Yet now, she coldly asked if I didn't need it. She would throw it away. The comments appeared again. Brother, actually the female lead wants to ask, do you really not want the engagement item anymore? Meaning you really don't want her anymore. Someone with such a difficult personality needs a lover who will never leave no matter how much they are pushed away. She is just testing whether you will really abandon her. Looking at these lines, I forced out a few trembling syllables from my throat. Yes. You throw it away. Lathina didn't say a single extra word, and immediately hung up the phone. I dragged the suitcase out of the apartment complex. Spent a lot of money to ask a broker to find a place within 3 hours. When I finished handling everything, it was nearly dawn. I lay on the newly rented bed, feeling a bit dazed. This was the first night I did not have Lathina after 7 years. The next day when entering the company, my whole body was in a daze. As soon as I arrived at the workplace, I saw a Starbucks coffee placed on the table. I turned around, wanting to ask colleagues who bought it, then saw Lathina and her assistant Wong Fu Kui, the shoulder to shoulder, walking into the office. Wong Fu Kui smiled brightly. Today is my birthday. Our department head invited coffee for the whole company. There will be cake in the afternoon too. It's his birthday. Lathina bought it. Immediately. The eyes of everyone in the office, all focused on me. My hands hung by my sides clenched tightly. Fingernails, digging deep into the flesh. The next second, I picked up the coffee cup, under Wang Fuqui's astonished gaze. I raised the cup toward him. Assistant Wang, happy birthday. Wang Fuqui was choked by me and couldn't speak, while Lathina stared at me. Suddenly speaking. Team leader Zhang, you came to work late today. Pay attention to your work attitude a bit. Don't think that being a miscellaneous worker allows you to be lazy. As soon as these words came out, the gazes around looking at me immediately changed. That was a gaze mixed with pity and mockery. Surrounded by these eyes, I couldn't avoid feeling a wave of discomfort. But more than that was the coldness in my heart. I forced myself to face Lathina's gaze, and spoke. Last night, I had already asked for leave from my direct superior. This doesn't need to bother General Director Lei. Lathina's red lips pressed into a straight line. She looked deeply at me before turning away. As soon as she left, that male colleague, who usually caused trouble with me, approached. Zhang Bak, making a scene all morning. All those posts you bragged about your relationship on social media were fake. Huh, your wife doesn't take you seriously at all. Well, now, she earns tens of millions a year. You're just a miscellaneous worker. Indeed, climbing too high. He smugly picked up the coffee cup when passing by me. He disdainfully sneered. I lowered my head looking at the coffee on the table. Suddenly, a thought flashed in my mind. When I first joined the company, both Lathina and I were in technical positions, but the company had a rule prohibiting dating within the same department, to avoid being discovered, and also thinking there needed to be someone to take care of the home. I voluntarily requested to transfer to the administrative department. After transferring positions, I went to work on time every day, arranged the house neatly, yet in the end, in her mouth, I was just a miscellaneous worker. I remained silent without saying anything. The lines of text before my eyes appeared again. Brother, don't believe that. The female lead just wanted an excuse to come to the administrative department to see you. That's why she invited coffee for the whole company. Really? As soon as she heard it was the assistant's birthday, the female lead's eyes lit up. She thought this was a good opportunity. Brother, you must believe me. I believed these things were true. But Lathina clearly had countless proper ways to come to the administrative department, yet chose the way that made me most uncomfortable. The discomfort in my heart lingered endlessly. All morning I couldn't concentrate. Near noon, Sister Kai, my superior, called me into his office. As soon as I entered, he pushed a stack of documents in front of me. The German branch has core technical staff, all resigning at once. Rearrange this year's documents. We need to select someone to go there to manage the overall situation. My heart thudded. A thought popped out without time me to think. Department head, I originally came from a technical background. I request to be transferred to Germany. As soon as these words came out, both I and Sister Kai were stunned. Previously, I had never thought I would proactively request to leave Lathina. But once this thought appeared, it could no longer be suppressed. Sister Kai seemed hesitant, asking me, Little Bach, this transfer requires signing a long-term contract with the company, at least 5 years without being able to return. This matter, do you need to discuss with your family? I shook my head. The determination to go became even stronger. Sister Kai, no need to discuss. I can decide on my own. I once gave up my career for family. Now there is an opportunity to start over. I don't want to miss it anymore. After I finished speaking, Sister Kai's gaze toward me had changed. He looked at me for a long time, finally nodding. All right. I will propose it upward. Don't disappoint me. I nodded vigorously. A long-absent excitement surged in my chest. As soon as I stepped out of the office, the lines of text before my eyes started flashing again. Impossible. Brother. Why do you want to go abroad? What about the female lead? Female led. Quickly go coax him. If you don't coax, the husband will really be lost. Crying while hugging his pillow until morning is useless. This time I ignored what the comment lines said, and eagerly started reviewing technical documents. Fortunately, although I had changed positions these years, I still maintained the habit from student days. always following the latest trends in the industry. I buried myself in studying all day, until my best friend Huang Vian sent a message. Bah, today is my birthday, coming or not? At that moment I suddenly remembered, hurriedly replying. Coming, after work. I had just stepped out of the company building, when I saw Lathina's silver-gray Bentley, parked across the street. I unconsciously stopped. The lines of text before my eyes started jumping again. Brother, the female lead came to pick you up. You just need to look at her for more than 2 seconds. She will definitely get out of the car and come over. Brother, don't be angry anymore. Being angry with a stubborn woman like a block of wood is not worth it at all. I had just stopped when someone from behind bumped into me hard, nearly falling. I turned around, facing Wang Fuqui's grinning face. Sorry, team leader Zhang. I was in a hurry to celebrate birthday with our department head. Didn't notice you standing here. I stood stunned in place. Wang Fuqi continued. Oh right, the department head said she wants to take me to Juliet restaurant. I remember you once posted on social media about that restaurant. Recommend some good dishes for me. Hearing these words, my mind immediately went blank. Juliet restaurant was where I successfully confessed to Lathina. I had very seriously told her that was our commemorative place, exclusive to the two of us. Even if we broke up later, she was not allowed to bring others there. She at that time also answered very seriously. There is no one else. Only you. My heart felt like it was pierced with a hole. Pain and coldness quickly spread throughout the body through that hole. I hadn't recovered from Wang Fuqui's words. When Lathina ran over, she didn't even glance at me. In her dark eyes, only reflected the figure of Wang Fuqi alone. She anxiously asked, "What's wrong? Are you hurt anywhere?" How ridiculous. Clearly I had decided to go abroad, wanting to leave her, but seeing this scene, my nose still couldn't help but sting. I really couldn't bear the ambiguous atmosphere between them anymore. Stepped back and turned to leave. The lines of text before my eyes started flashing frantically. Brother, don't be fooled by the female lead's smoke bomb. She saw you being bumped and rushed over here, not even caring about the red light. Clearly the female lead wants to coax you. Why doesn't she open her mouth to speak? Don't you see he is already furious? Why still care about someone else first? My footsteps became faster and faster. The images before my eyes also became blurrier, until I turned the corner, completely unable to see the two of them anymore. Only then did I lean against the wall to stop, forcefully wiping away the tears in the corners of my eyes, and harshly scolding myself. Zhang Bak, you are really useless. After emotions stabilized, I hailed a taxi to the address Huang Vian sent. When I pushed open the private room door, my 3 best friends were chatting lively. Du Tu Dang with a face full of worry. You guys say, will Bak really come today? Usually at this time, isn't he at home cooking for Lathina? Kok Kwang snorted. The last contact was 2 months ago. He called to ask me about a women's perfume. Definitely bought for Lathina. Huang Vian propped his chin and sighed. Really hope he comes. Last time for my birthday he didn't come. Hearing this, my nose suddenly stung. These 3 were my best friends. We once had nothing we couldn't talk about. Whoever had something, the other 3 would definitely show up immediately to support. But I don't know since when. My life and social media all revolved around Lathina alone. Because of her, I refused gatherings with brothers, refused staying up all night, drinking with a heartbroken friend, and also refused the annual promised trip. Taking a deep breath, suppressing the sourness in my eyes, I pushed the door in, forced a smile, handed over the prepared gift. Sorry. Late, Ain Yuan. Happy birthday. The 3 seeing me were both surprised and delighted. Huang Vian waved. Come sit quickly. Just waiting for you. Working all day must be tiring. I ordered many dishes you like. I sat down. Amid their laughter and banter, felt like returning to the carefree teenage years. When cutting the cake, Huang Vian looked at me, suddenly pulled me to the center, then very seriously said to me, Little Bak, my birthday gift to you. I hope you will be happy every day from now on. I was stunned, facing his eyes full of worry and encouragement. The corners of my eyes immediately heated up. Zhang Bak, look. Even without love, You still have the most loyal brothers. I tried to suppress the bitterness at the bottom of my eyes, closed my eyes, clasped hands to make a wish. Jang Ba, wish that from now on you live only for yourself, 1,000 times over. That night was the most comfortable night I had in recent years. I didn't need to stare at the phone all the time, afraid of missing Lathina's messages. I didn't need to worry about Lathina's cleanliness. Could comfortably play games with friends. I could drink to my heart's content, hold the mic, sing off-key songs until my voice was hoarse. Finally I got drunk and collapsed on the sofa. In a daze, I seemed to hear Kak Kwang say he wanted to take me home. You guys go first. At that moment I vaguely remembered. I hadn't told them that Lathina and I were separated. When I became sober again, in my ears was Kak Kung's angry cursing, mixed with Lathina's name. I struggled to open my eyes, then saw Lathina in a nightgown, standing at the bedroom door, and beside her was Wang Fu Kui with disheveled clothes. Kak Kwang, the hottest-tempered, was still scolding. Believe you, if not for you being a woman I would have hit you. Do you remember what you said at the wedding? Now doing this shameless thing. Really fucking disgusting. Lathina's face was cold, looking at Kak Q with eyes like looking at a rogue, and I looking at the scene before me. In my mind, only a blank emptiness remained. The lines of text before my eyes started running wildly again. What the hell is this? I just called the assistant to deliver documents. How did it coincidentally get caught? This way no explanation will work. Blame it all on that assistant. Just say it was an emergency document 10,000 times urgent. What document in the middle of the night needs to be delivered right now? Really pitiful for my brother. Just waking up to see this scene. Those lines were still flooding the screen. I followed the suggestion and looked toward Lathina. Indeed, she was also looking at me. We faced each other. She spoke first. John Bach, take your crazy friend, and immediately get out of my house. If you want to go mad, don't do it at my place. My heart suddenly ached. I tried to force out a sentence from my throat, the sentence I wanted to ask her the most. Tai Na, do you have nothing to explain to me? But she only sneered. That laugh full of coldness and mockery. What do I do? Why do I need to report to you? Anger and pain exploded simultaneously in my chest. My heart like being squeezed by a hand, painful to the point. My vision blurred, unable to breathe. This suffocating feeling mixed with the alcohol suddenly made me feel nauseous. I hurriedly covered my mouth, staggered running toward the trash bin, but just as I bent down, I saw the pile of shards. Exactly the pair of dolls once placed on the bedside table. I stared at those shards, both hands gripping the edge of the trash bin, sobbing. The world spinning, feeling like if I didn't vomit out my heart, I couldn't stop. Little Bok Kok Kong worried. 3 steps, running like flying toward me, gently patting my back, and Lathina. She stood at the bedroom door from beginning to end, not moving a single step. Lathina, I felt Kak Kong about to explode again, hurriedly pulled his hand, but when I looked up, saw his face stiff, his voice carrying careful sorrow. Little Bok, don't cry. I was stunned for a moment, raised my hand to wipe my face, fingertips indeed, wet. Turns out I didn't even know when I started crying, what those lines were saying. I could no longer read a single word. When brother started vomiting, the female lead hurriedly wanted to run over, just got preempted by his friend. Seeing his devastated state, the female lead immediately regretted speaking too harshly. Brother, don't be sad about the ceramics in the trash. The female lead secretly made a new pair, wanted to apologize so threw away the old one. I tightly held my friend's hand, using his strength to stand firm. With difficulty spoke. Kak Kung, let's go. Kok Kwang gritted his teeth and turned back, glaring coldly at Lathina, then tightly held my hand, pulling me toward the door. But just as we were about to exit, I stopped, turned to look at Lathina, word by word. Seriously said. Lathina, let's find time to divorce. The elevator kept descending. I leaned on Kak Kwang, whole body, powerless. Suddenly, many old memories surged in my mind, all trivial matters, unnoticeable when with Lathina. For example, I often forgot to bring keys, but she didn't like password locks. Once I didn't bring keys, Had to wait in the hallway until midnight. She came back and saw me. The first sentence was, "See if you dare to be forgetful again." Another time. The neighbor downstairs called me, saying our house was leaking water. I hurriedly asked for leave from the company and rushed home, only to find Lathina completely at home. I asked why she didn't handle it a bit. She asked back, "These things from before to now aren't all managed by you. What does it have to do with me?" Another time Latina was on a business trip. I bought a split-leaf philodendron pot and took a photo to share with her. I sent 3 messages in a row and she didn't reply. When I sent the 4th, only then discovered I had been blocked by her. When she returned, she lightly said to me, "Affected my meeting. Don't send such trivial things in the future." Yes, all trivial matters. But when an avalanche happens, which snowflake is innocent? Ding, the elevator reached the 1st floor. Kak Kwong carefully asked me, "Little Bok, are you okay?" I escaped the stream of memories. Shook my head at him, forced a smile. Being able to escape the constraints of those trivial matters must be a good thing. Kak Kwong took me home and left. I lay on the bed, thought I would toss and turn, unable to sleep. Unexpectedly, as soon as my head touched the pillow, I fell into deep sleep. The next day, waking up, outside the sunlight was brilliant. I as usual went out to work. Only when reaching under the company building, saw Lathina waiting at the main entrance. At the same time, the lines of text before my eyes activated once more. The female lead has been standing here since before dawn. Afraid of missing brother, she has finally come to her senses. Last night after brother left, the female lead even got angry with the assistant, and wanted to transfer him to another department. Over there. Lathina, as soon as she saw me, quickly walked toward me. She first scanned me from head to toe, then frowned. "What are you wearing? Didn't I tell you? You don't look good in this kind of shirt. Quickly go home and change." I lowered my head looking at my shirt, then pulled the collar closer. I originally didn't want to waste words with her, but still couldn't help replying. "What I wear is my freedom. We are about to divorce. Do you understand?" Hearing me say this, Lathina's brows furrowed tighter. She seemed to be suppressing something, but the impatience in her eyes still showed. "Recently the technical department is extremely busy. I don't have time to mess around with you here." Those lines of text hovered before my eyes again. Isn't the female lead here specifically to apologize to brother? What is this attitude? She stayed up all night, her mind full of the scene of brother saying divorce to her. She probably isn't clear-headed anymore. Although they all say Lathina is yielding, but I, through those semi-transparent lines, only saw her cold face, and heard her icy words, "Fine. If you insist like this, then I have no other way." I looked straight at Lathina, clearly seeing the certainty in her eyes. She was certain I couldn't leave her. She was certain that me saying divorce was just to scare her. In that moment, I no longer had the strength to argue with her, only nodded. "I will prepare the divorce agreement as soon as possible." After saying this, I didn't look back and walked into the company building. As soon as I entered the office, Sister Kai, holding a stack of documents, came over. "Little Bok, the situation is a bit urgent. They need someone urgently over there. The general director has specially approved your transfer application. I have booked a flight for you at 9 p.m. tomorrow. Is the time okay?" I was stunned for a moment, then immediately nodded vigorously. "It's okay." Holding the thin stack of documents tightly, my mood suddenly became extremely light. Throughout the rest of the day, I was busy as hell, first handing over the work in progress, then setting up a meeting with Kak Kong and the other two, at a small eatery near the university. As soon as they heard I was about to be transferred, everyone was shocked, but very quickly started congratulating me. Kak Kwong even excitedly slammed the table. "Great, Little Bok. This is not just a promotion, but also conveniently kicking away that rotten woman. Truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Congratulations. Congratulations." Hearing this, I couldn't help laughing out loud. After the party, everyone went their separate ways. I walked slowly along the street alone. Suddenly, a loud thunder sounded by my ear. I hadn't found a place to take shelter from the rain, when large raindrops poured down. When I got home I was soaked through. I hurriedly took a hot shower, and drank 2 cold pills. But by midnight still started having a high fever. I was feverish to the point of delirious. You could only grit my teeth and crawl out of bed. Called a taxi to the hospital. Tomorrow morning I have to leave. I didn't want to change the ticket because of illness. If the general director thought my work attitude had issues, it would be bad. 2. In the morning, I finally reached the hospital emergency room door. I hurriedly pushed the door in, then heard a voice too familiar. She was asking the doctor, "Is my boyfriend okay?" I unconsciously looked over, only to see in the emergency room, Latina standing in front of the doctor's desk, and the man named Wang Fu Kuai, almost his whole body, weakly leaning on her. Latina's voice full of worry. "He just has a stomach ache. How can it hurt this much? Doctor, quickly prescribe medicine for him." I looked at the woman before me, feeling a bit dazed. Just a stomach ache. I remember I also had it once. But when I was in pain half dead, Latina seemed to only say drink more hot water. I numbly looked at the lines, flickering before my eyes. This time I won't help her speak anymore. Brother has a high fever and came to the hospital alone, while the female lead is worried about assistant Wang. The female lead didn't discover the male lead came, so deliberately acting worried like this. She is just throwing a tantrum with the male lead. I didn't push the door fully, but turned and sat down on the waiting chair at the door. The entire emergency hall was empty, no one else. Quiet to the point the air seemed frozen. I don't know how long passed. The emergency room door opened. 2 people walked out together, stopped in front of me. I looked up, just meeting Latina's gaze. She also looked straight at me, but only fleetingly, then shifted her eyes, then supported Wang Fu Kuai. She treated me like air, passed by my side. Immediately after, the nurse came to me, held a thermometer to my forehead. The nurse looked at the number, shocked, and exclaimed, "Oh my God, 39.5 degrees. Are you okay?" I looked up and smiled at her, said, "I felt still fine. Only in this 39-degree high fever." The last ray of hope I had for that woman had completely burned out. After that I got a fever-reducing injection, took medicine home to drink, and obediently slept. Perhaps because my constitution is good. The next day, the fever really subsided. Looking at the normal number on the thermometer, I breathed a sigh of relief. Great. This time no need to change the ticket. At this moment I noticed, on the phone, there were 17 missed calls from Latina. I suddenly remembered, in the past, when I was really angry, she would also call continuously like this to apologize. Only after marriage, I had endured many things myself, so she no longer did that. I curled my lips in a smile, moved my finger, decisively, pulled her number into the blacklist. The lines of text before my eyes jumped continuously. "Don't brother. The female lead last night parked under the house. Stood watching until the room light went out before leaving, although silently protecting, but brother doesn't know. It's too cruel." I ignored these lines, and went straight to a print shop, printed the divorce agreement. These years, she and I had no entanglements regarding property. The house is hers. Money is what I earned myself. Dividing is also simple. Next was packing belongings, contacting the landlord to return the rented room. Turns out when a person truly decides to leave, everything can be so neat. When I finished all matters, dragged the suitcase downstairs, planning to find an express delivery to send the divorce agreement, then saw Latina waiting downstairs. She was leaning against that silver-gray Bentley, fingertips holding a cigarette, face haggard and pale. One must know that previously she never smoked. She saw me dragging the suitcase out. Her face immediately stiffened, hurriedly asked, "Where are you going?" "Company arranged a business trip," I casually replied. She seemed to breathe a sigh of relief after hearing, then calmly said, "I was just passing by. Take you to the airport." I stared at her for a few seconds, finally still nodded. As soon as I got in the car, the lines of text before my eyes started running wildly. Why doesn't the female lead ask a few more questions? Brother is going on an overseas assignment, not something that can return in 2 or 3 days. Clearly saw brother not going to work today. Only then came here, yet still say just passing by. What's the use of being stubborn? Those lines were excited, but Latina was silent the whole way, until the car stopped completely at the airport. At the airport, Latina had never done this before, yet took me straight to the security check. I was pushing the suitcase preparing to enter, when she suddenly called me from behind. "Little Bach, when you return, Let's go back to the countryside to visit your parents together. I turned to look at her, her face so calm, as if nothing had ever happened between us. Indeed. In the past, every time we argued, at most a week, and we made up. She probably thought this time was the same. Wait until I return from the business trip. All the previous unpleasantness could be overlooked. I just silently looked at her. The airport broadcast sounded, urging. Passengers flying to Berlin, please note, flight DH9755 to Berlin will stop checking in half an hour. DH9755. That was my flight. I came back to my senses and thought a bit, took out from my personal bag the folder containing the divorce agreement, handed it to Lathina. Seeing her confused face receiving it, I instead smiled lightly. I have signed it. You sign and email it to me. Then I turned and quickly walked toward the security area. Goodbye, Latina. This time what turned to smoke was our marriage. Just past security, I hadn't walked a few steps when I heard Lathina's panicked voice from behind. Divorce agreement. Little Bach. What do you mean by giving me this? I turned back, only to see her blocked by security staff, eyes red full of disbelief. I curled my lips in a smile, no longer stopped, walked straight into the boarding gate, leaving her calls completely behind. Nearly 13 hours. I finally arrived in Berlin, slept one night at the company-arranged accommodation. The next day, I immediately plunged into intense work. I stayed at the company continuously for 3 days, busy until eyes dizzy, not even thinking of Lathina for a single second. When I finally stepped out of the company door, the glaring sunlight made me feel dazed, as if separated by a whole century. When my eyes adapted to the light, I saw not far away standing a person. It was Lathina. She was using red eyes, staring at me. Little Bach. Latina called my name. I looked at her, momentarily unable to react. I thought we would meet again, only after I returned to the country. In those few seconds I was dazed. She had quickly walked in front of me, voice hoarse from the long flight. Why didn't you tell me? Going to Germany is an overseas assignment, 5 years before returning. You now also started deceiving me. I couldn't help frowning. Lathina, the divorce agreement I left for you. Didn't you see it? Hearing me say this, Latina's eyes became even redder. She suddenly grabbed my hand, tone full of urgency. I don't agree. Don't even think about divorcing. A Lathina playing rogue like this was truly the first time I saw. Momentarily didn't know how to respond to her, and the lines of text before my eyes started jumping again. This is the female lead's husband chasing Creed. Quite interesting. Yes. Even if Lathina didn't come to handle divorce procedures. But as soon as she met me, she started blaming me for hiding from her. Seeing I didn't react, Lathina directly pulled me, urging, quickly go back to the company and withdraw the overseas transfer application. The technical department has so many people, why must it be you going out? I stopped, then forcefully pulled my hand away from her. Lathina, this opportunity I had to struggle to get. On what basis do you want me to give it up with one sentence? Lathina's eyes full of confusion. She stared at me saying, what exactly are you thinking in your head? Our matters haven't been resolved yet. You running far away alone to avoid. What meaning does it have? She dared to think I was avoiding her. A feeling of helplessness surged in my heart. I tried to suppress the anger, tried to use a calm tone to tell her, as long as you sign the divorce agreement, everything will be resolved. Lathina's eyes stared at me, gradually covered with red bloodshot. She suddenly opened her mouth to ask. Jang Bak, I said at the wedding, my marriage only has widowhood, no divorce. You clearly know how much I value marriage, so you used this trick to torture me. Right. Facing such a stubborn Lathina, I really had no way. At this moment, someone patted my shoulder from behind. Brother Little Bach, today convenient to give me a ride. I turned back, saw colleague Duong Tuv, grinning at me. I just wanted to get away from Lathina as quickly as possible, although not close with Duong Tuv, but I immediately agreed. You get in the company car. Sit in my car. Only then did I breathe a sigh of relief. Through the rearview mirror, I saw Lathina still standing in place. The distance too far so I couldn't see her expression clearly. I shifted my gaze to ask Duong Tuv, where do you live? Duong Tuv grinned. Brother, just drive to the intersection ahead, then drop me off. I was a bit puzzled. He winked at me a few times. The person just now was your ex-girlfriend. Right. I saw you didn't want to talk much with her, so made an excuse for you to drive me a bit. His attitude very frank. Instead made me a bit embarrassed, but still said, thanks. Duong TV waved. Small matter. I hate most the type of people who cling persistently. I didn't intend to tell details of me and Lathina, so followed his intention. Dropped him at the next intersection. Before he closed the car door, I added, tomorrow morning I'll bring coffee for you. Thanks for today. Duong TV didn't refuse. Said. I waved and drove off. Back at the apartment, I silently rubbed my temples, turned to go into the bathroom, planning to fill the tub. The tub water had only filled halfway. My phone rang. I glanced at the screen showing incoming call. Answered. Mom. What's up? Little Bok. Your parents came to play with you, but in your and New Yen's house, there is a strange man. My heart thudded. Eyes looking at the rising water in the tub, closed my eyes. Mom. There is something I haven't told you and Dad. I am preparing to divorce Lathina. I have signed the agreement, currently discussing with her. At this moment, the other end was silent for a long time. My mom then spoke. Where are you? Parents will come find you. No need, Mom. I have accepted company work, already abroad. After I finish here, I will tell you everything, from beginning to end. Since I graduated and became independent, my parents basically no longer managed my affairs. Also, never forced me to do anything. This time was no exception. Hung up the phone. I undressed and stepped into the tub. Warm water reached my chest. I was a bit lost in thought thinking about the man my mom encountered. Definitely Wang Fu Kuai. Lathina mouth said to me she didn't want divorce, but on the other side, let Wang Fu Kui openly enter the house. The corners of my mouth curled in a sarcastic smile. My body sank deeper into the water. Before my eyes, new lines appeared again. Oh, the male lead must have misunderstood again. The female lead, just ask the assistant to deliver some daily necessities. Ask anyone and they would misunderstand. Brother divorcing is because of that assistant. This time, the male lead's parents will probably also be disappointed with the female lead. I thought they could be mediators. I decisively closed my eyes, no longer wanting to see this messy information. My parents' thinking is not old-fashioned. Absolutely no issue of not allowing divorce. If they knew the grievances I endured, would only urge me to quickly divorce Lathina. That night I slept quite well. The next morning, waking up, discovered outside was drizzling. I held an umbrella just stepping out. Already saw Lathina standing alone downstairs. The night here is very cold. I didn't know how long she had stood. Also unclear what exactly she wanted to do. Anyway, I felt the words yesterday were clear enough. No longer wanted to entangle with her. I was about to go around her and leave, when I heard her call from behind. Little Bok, that divorce agreement I won't sign. She quickly stepped in front of me, attitude very firm. Either I apply to transfer here, or you immediately follow me back. Even if I really did something wrong, you have to give me a chance to correct it. My throat suddenly choked. I looked straight at her, word by word asked. Lathina. I gave you few chances. That time Wang Fu Kui appeared in our house. I didn't make you explain. Do you remember what you said then? And those ceramic dolls you casually threw away. Did you think about my feelings? Lathina frowned tightly. I have emphasized to you many times. He and I are just pure superior subordinate relationship. The ceramic dolls. I admit I threw them, but I have made a new pair for you, she said while reaching out wanting to hold me. Little Bok. I stepped back, coldly looked at her. Don't touch me. Lathina is someone with extremely strong emotional boundaries, but could tolerate Wang Fu Kui freely entering and leaving her house. Even until today, she had never thought to explain to me even a little. What exactly was that kissing photo about? Lathina probably didn't expect my attitude to be so firm. Her face immediately darkened. I stepped back half a step more, said straightforwardly, now I have my own work to do. Please don't come bother me again in the future. Lathina was also angered by me. She coldly looked at me. Jongbok, I have proactively come to apologize. What exactly more do you want me to do? As long as I haven't signed that divorce agreement for one day. Then, when you return to the country, we are still legally husband and wife. I turned back to give her a look. Voice. Also 8 degrees colder. Latina. Your current appearance. What difference from your mother back then? Clinging to your father. Not agreeing to divorce. What difference? Having been husband and wife for so many years. Of course. I knew which sentence could hurt her the most. Indeed, Latina's face was no longer just ugly. I no longer looked at her, opened the car door and drove straight off. My mood instead became much more relaxed. Just arriving at the company, already saw Duong Tuv waiting at the door. He approached asking, "Brother Little Bok, that person yesterday didn't come bother you again?" Right. Seeing the genuine worry in his eyes, my heart warmed, conveniently handed over the coffee. Rest assured, I can handle it. As soon as I said this, the lines of text before my eyes appeared again. It's over. Brother's current attitude toward the female lead has used the 2 words, handle. He seems to have truly given up on the female lead. Really pitiful for the female lead who yielded yesterday. Searched many people to find the male lead's residence. Early morning got stabbed in the heart by the male lead. The female lead already knows she was wrong. Male lead give her one more chance. I ignored those discussions and walked straight into the company. As a result, just seeing the person sitting next to my workplace, my whole body froze. That person looked up, revealing 2 small dimples, and waved. Brother Little Bok. Surprise. Shocked. Surprise. More like horrified. The only precious daughter of the company's general director. I really didn't understand what Lam Yuyan Du was doing here. I thought so in my heart, and asked directly. Not staying comfortably in the country. What are you running here for? Lam Yuyan Du instead very relaxed. I graduated with a master's. My dad wants me to go out and train a bit. Happens the project here has issues. If I handle well, you can also add a glorious achievement to my resume. She grinned, adding, moreover, my dad feels with you here to take care. So, especially reassured to send me over. I hadn't had time to respond when I heard Duong Tuv muttering softly from behind. Turns out it's the young miss sent here to be an empty boss. I didn't know if Lam Yuyan Du heard. Anyway, her facial expression didn't change at all. I also didn't care. Directly arranged. Work. I remember you studied finance. First analyze the data of the past 3 months. Lam Yuyan Du didn't have the bad habits of rich young misses. All morning buried in work. Instead, Duong Tuv occasionally glanced at her a few times. Near lunch time, Lam Yuyan Du very naturally stood in front of my desk. Brother Little Bok, can I go eat with you? I rubbed my temples. All right. Duong Tuv immediately jumped from his chair. I'll go too. The 3 of us just stepped out of the company, discussing what to eat for lunch, when facing Latina carrying a bag. Latina, expressionless, handed the bag toward me. I know you're not used to food here, so specially found a Chinese restaurant to order. She glanced at the 2 people beside me. Lips moved. I didn't know you were going with them, so didn't order extra. I didn't reach out to take, but only said, you eat it yourself. We are going out to eat together. Latina's brows furrowed. Little Bok, must you use this attitude with me? I hadn't had time to speak. Lam Yuyan Du spoke first. Isn't this department head Lei? I heard your project recently has some trouble. At this critical time, you're not in the country directing. Running here seems a bit inappropriate. Latina obviously also recognized her. Corners of her mouth pulled into a straight line. Coldly replied. The project will have no issues. Rumors are not credible. After saying, she shifted her gaze back to me. Since going to eat together, then count me in one portion. My heart suddenly surged with irritation. Latina, let me say it straight. I don't want to eat with you. Did you hear clearly? Latina stood frozen, and the lines of text before my eyes also flashed frantically. Male lead, don't treat the female lead like this. She is just quirky in personality, but she never intended to betray you. No matter what brother does I support. Anyway, brother has truly endured enough grievances. Seeing that last line, my heart suddenly surged with indescribable sourness. These years with Latina, I had indeed endured enough grievances. But from now on no more. I ignored Lathina standing frozen in place, who led Arosa and the others straight onto the car and drove off. Arriving at the restaurant and sitting down, it was only then that I discovered Arosa and young Little Wei were staring intently at me, making me feel a slight chill down my spine. Unconsciously asking, "What are you looking at me for?" Young Little Wei, seeing me speak first, as if granted amnesty, immediately exclaimed excitedly, "Brother Little White, you were just too cool. Dealing with a vile woman like that requires such decisiveness." He was also very tactful, not probing at all into what was between me and Grace Thina, just endlessly praising how well I handled it. I smiled. "All right, let's order." In truth, I didn't feel impressive at all. If I were truly capable, I wouldn't have let myself endure such grievances for so long. At that moment, I didn't notice. Arosa had spoken little from beginning to end, only silently watching me from the side. After we finished eating and returned to the company, Grace T. Na had vanished. In the past, I always obeyed her. Today's cold indifference was the first time I broke the norm. If this was the only way to make her understand that I truly wanted nothing more to do with her, then I wouldn't mind repeating it a few more times. In the days that followed, Grace Thina no longer appeared. I guessed she had probably returned to the country. For some reason, I felt as if a great burden had been lifted. Those lines of text before my eyes occasionally appeared. "Big brother works so seriously. Truly charming." I saw that guy young Little Wei sneaking glances at him several times. Is the male lead planning to become a career titan and completely let go of the female lead? My big brother is amazingly single. No arguments accepted. Regarding these gossipy comments on the screen, I always just smiled faintly. Such a peaceful life passed for a month, when I received a message from Wang Fu-Kwa. "Team leader, can you remove department head Grace from the blacklist? I see her calling you every night. It truly breaks my heart." I lowered my head and scrolled past this message, without a word, and dragged his phone number into the blacklist. Whatever Wang Fu-Kui wanted to do, whatever Grace Thina was up to, no longer concerned me, but I never expected these quiet days of mine would come to a complete end, just because of Wang Fu-Kui's message. Grace Thina and Wang Fu-Kui, lugging suitcases, suddenly appeared right in front of me. I truly couldn't squeeze out even a single smile. Wang Fu-Kui stepped forward first, handing me a stack of documents. "Team leader, the company plans to add another production line here in Germany. We specially came for the initial survey." I glanced at the seal stamped on the documents, asked nothing more, and directly led them to the office. Department head Grace, this office has just enough for 2 desks. Will plenty for you and assistant Wang to use. Grace Thina's fists clenched tightly. She suppressed her voice and said, "I didn't request to share an office with him." Wang Fu-Kui's face immediately turned ugly. I, on the other hand, chuckled. "That's a shame. There are no other empty offices left. Moreover, back in the country, weren't you always sharing an office with Assistant Wang? Could it be that abroad you expect special treatment?" This unabashed sarcasm from me made Grace Thina's face alternate between pale and flushed. She seemed to think of something, suddenly lifting her head to look at me. "So before, you were jealous?" She appeared utterly baffled. "Why? If you were jealous, did you never tell me?" That tightly furrowed brow of hers suddenly made me feel nauseous. I stated bluntly, "Department head Grace, we are no longer husband and wife. Please watch your words. I don't want to bring up the past anymore. I hope from now on we are merely colleagues." Before she could react, Grace Thina's face darkened completely. I was too lazy to hear what she intended to say. Without hesitation, turning and leaving the office. During the day, everyone was busy working. Naturally, Grace Thina and I had no interaction. By quitting time, I glanced over. Her office light was already off. I stretched my stiff neck, preparing to head home. But just as I reached downstairs, I heard someone sobbing softly. I looked toward the sound. It turned out to be Wang Fu-Kui and Grace Thina. Wang Fu-Kui's face clearly showed anguish, while Grace Thina stood facing him, her brows still tightly knit. I had intended to walk straight past, But my ears caught Wang Fuqui's voice, almost pleading. Nu Yen. You're carrying my child. We can't just break up like this. I didn't listen to what followed, quietly walking away. The lines of text before my eyes instantly exploded. What? The female lead is pregnant with someone else's child. What will Big Brother do now? Looks like the male lead was right not to forgive. Otherwise, the female lead would definitely continue cheating. There must be some misunderstanding. The female lead would absolutely never betray the male lead. I started the car. These comments caused not the slightest ripple in my heart. In my mind replayed Grace Thi Na's expression just now. She clearly looked upset, but did not deny Wang Fuqui's words. With my understanding of her, this was 80 to 90% true. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, finding the whole thing utterly ridiculous. She pretended to be deeply in love in front of me, but behind my back was pregnant with another man's. However, these thoughts merely flashed through my mind, then quickly dissipated. I took out my phone and called Kak Q. The phone rang a few times before someone answered. Little White. What's up? I stared at the road ahead, asking him directly. That divorce agreement I printed before, Grace Thi Na refuses to sign. The moment I finished speaking, Kok Kong's side erupted. What does he mean? He still has the nerve to cling and refuse divorce with you. I curled my lip in a smile. A casual one. Seems that's the intent. I just want to ask, is there a way to make this marriage impossible not to dissolve? Kok Kong asked straight. Do you have evidence of her affair in hand? I thought for a moment. Said. There's a photo of her kissing someone else. Kok Kwang's side went silent for a few seconds, then asked. And then, that's it. Even I felt a bit embarrassed. Just that. This probably can't directly prove her affair. Kok Kong pondered long before speaking. Here's the thing. Send the photo over first. I'll help you take a look. Alright, I'm driving. I'll send it later. As soon as I got home, I immediately sent the photo I'd received before to Kak Kwang. Not long after, his video call popped up. Little White, who sent you this photo? I didn't understand why he asked that, but honestly replied. Grace Thi Na's assistant, Kak Kuong, frowned. This photo is doctored. I restored it with software. The two of them never kissed at all. They were just standing close. My whole body went numb, and the lines of text before my eyes instantly boiled over. I told you the female lead could never betray the male lead. It was all that scheming male assistant's doing. No wonder the female lead was so angry. Turns out she was truly wronged. Even if the photo is fake, the female lead now really is pregnant with someone else's child. I quickly said to Kok Kyu Kwang. There's something. Today after work, I overheard Wang Fuqui say, Grace Thi Na is pregnant with his child. Gok Kong's eyes on the other side widened. He froze for half a day before uttering. Grace Thi Na, how could she do such a thing? Little White. Wait a moment. I'll find someone to investigate that assistant's medical records. Kok Kuing is a lawyer, with connections to all sorts of people. Investigating this is no problem for him. Hanging up the video, I let out a heavy sigh. I couldn't help thinking, if I had known the photo was fake back then, would Grace Thi Na and I still have ended up here? The answer is yes. We still would. I'd had enough of her indifference, and grown tired of a past without myself in it. Even without Wang Fu Kuai, the incompatibilities between us would sooner or later surface in another way. My current state of life satisfies me greatly. I have no desire to return to the old days. I pushed aside the chaotic thoughts in my head, only then noticing on my phone a message from an unknown number. Little White. Tonight let's go to the Brandenburg Gate. Back then you proposed to me there. This time give me a chance. Okay. I looked down at the screen and smiled. Brandenburg Gate. I had proposed to Grace Thi Na right there. Seeing this message with its clear intent to reconcile, I moved my fingers and replied. No need. What you should consider now is what you and Wang Fu Qui's child will do. Less than an hour after sending the message, my door was knocked on. I looked through the peephole. Sure enough, it was Grace Thi Na, her face full of anxiety, an expression I'd never seen. Even her forehead beaded with sweat, but I had no intention of opening the door. Her emotions now meant nothing to me. I'd long set my phone to silent, letting her repeat over and over outside. I don't want to divorce. Finally, Grace the Na lost patience, starting to shout loudly outside. Little White, open the door. Let's talk properly. I sneered. To a woman about to be my ex-wife, I truly can't think of anything to say. Her knocking grew louder, more urgent. I frowned, directly hanging up her incoming call. Then, immediately calling the building manager. Someone is disturbing by knocking. I request security intervention. The other side responded quickly. Yes, sir. In less than 3 minutes, Grace the Na was led away. The outside finally restored its peace. The next morning, how to face her at the company. I figured she wasn't stupid enough to confront me in front of everyone at the branch. After all, her affair with Wang Fu Kui was a scandal. Exposing it would benefit her, none. In my private group chat, Kak Q, and the others that evening, notifications kept ringing. Fuang Vien at Little White. What's going on? You okay over there? Why is Grace the Na clinging like dog skin plaster? Du Tu Dang. Lately, I happen to have an undecided inspiration spot. How about I come to Germany with you at Little White? Fuang Vien at Little White. Don't be sad. It's just a woman. Back in college. Kak Kwang and Do Tu Dang. One, a lawyer. One, an artist, had long planned their lives, entering society early. In the dorm, only Fuang Vien stayed with me longest. He knew exactly how much he'd once loved Grace the Na, so he worried most this time I wouldn't get through it. I smiled and replied to their messages. I'm fine. Just a rotten ex-wife. Hey do too dang. No need. I have my own work here. If you come. I'm afraid I won't have time to hang out. Seeing my tone still quite normal, even sending a few emojis, they felt somewhat relieved. After chatting with them, I set the phone down and drifted to sleep, but unexpectedly dreamed. In the dream, I returned to university days. That was when I was most infatuated with her. Even in midsummer, handing out flyers with her on the street, I found joy. After finishing the flyers, my whole body like fished from water. Grace the Na held the 80 yuan from the boss for part-time work. Without a word dragged me into a milk tea shop, ordering the most expensive milk tea, 32 yuan. I was about to stop her, when she coldly said to me, Zhang White, I agreed to be with you, not to suffer hardship together. Waking up, the scene of us sharing one milk tea in the dream, still vivid, I couldn't help shaking my head. Some people, some things, you should only remain in memories. After all, now, when Grace the Na is mentioned, I can't find even a trace of beautiful memory. Only unhappiness and disappointment remain. Arriving at the company, as usual, I buried myself in work. Not long after, a familiar figure appeared before my desk again. I looked up, just meeting Grace the Na's staring eyes. I smiled and asked her, Department head, Grace, is something the matter? Grace the Na sensed the colleagues' gazes around, lowered her voice. Let's talk outside. I remained seated unmoving, instead raising my volume slightly. No need. That wouldn't look good. We're currently negotiating divorce. What do you mean? Always seeking me out. The moment these words left my mouth, the surrounding gazes instantly changed. Grace the Na's face darkened immediately. Seeing her like this, I suddenly recalled the day she threw Wang Fu Kui a birthday party, treating the whole company to coffee. I admit I had selfish motives. I wanted revenge on her, but actually doing it brought no satisfaction of vengeance. Only self-contempt remained. I shifted my gaze away, calmly saying, if you don't want me to say more, then leave quickly. I had thought Grace the Na would back down. After all, with her pride, she surely couldn't bear public embarrassment. But unexpectedly, the corners of her eyes reddened. She lowered her gaze, voice hoarse. Little White, can you hear my explanation? The work in my hands couldn't help pausing. The lines of text before my eyes also began flickering. The female lead finally realizes now. Big brother saying. Divorce INT just anger toward her. She's panicking, but it's too late for the male lead to forgive. No wonder the female lead was chased from the apartment last night, then sat crying in the car all night. Finally, she's thought it through. I pondered a moment, spoke. I have to work now. Talk after quitting TIMA. Hearing me say this, Grace the Na's dejected expression instantly vanished. She clearly sighed in relief. Okay, I'll wait for you outside the company after work. I ignored the curious gazes around, picked up the documents and stood, only then noticing Orosa's seat was empty. I asked young Little Wei. Where is she? Young Little Wei looked up blankly. Orosa. She requested leave with HR today. I nodded. Orosa's personality was always capricious. Staying stably at the company for a month had already surprised me greatly. She probably finally couldn't stand it and went somewhere to relax. After submitting documents from finance and returning, I saw a missed call from headquarters on my phone. I hurriedly called back. The answering was the chairman's office assistant. Team leader Zhang. This call is at the chairman's request. I've sent his personal number to your email. It's his personal phone. Call back when you're free. I gripped the phone, somewhat flustered. My biggest intersection with the chairman was at the annual party. Receiving the Outstanding Employee trophy from his hands, what matter, required someone of my level to personally call his private number. I couldn't figure it out, but still took the phone to the hallway, dialing the number from the email. The phone rang 3 times before being answered. My heart was slightly anxious. Before I could speak, the other end transmitted the chairman's warm laughter. Zhang White here. I tightly held the phone. Chairman, what do you need me for? The other side paused, then said, I remember. You and my good-for-nothing daughter were old classmates. Currently, she and I have a bit of conflict. I'm far away and can't go. The kid is throwing a tantrum and refusing to work. Would it be convenient for you to advise her on my behalf? Hearing it was this. On one hand, I marveled at the chairman truly doting on Orosa. On the other, felt it absurd. Orosa was nearly 30, having family conflict, yet needing an outsider like me to mediate. What was this? But he was after all my ultimate boss. Besides agreeing, I had no choice. Just after finishing the call and about to return to my seat, the lines of text before my eyes made me freeze. This chairman seems off somehow. Yesterday he called Orosa, clearly beaming. Orosa was so happy, both rich and with a father who loves her, even willing to help her pursue the male lead. Female lead. This is the first time. These lines didn't mention Grace T. Na, but the information they revealed made me unable to believe. Orosa wants to pursue me. This was truly fanciful. Not to mention anything else. I'm nearly 10 years older than her. With her family status, what kind of man couldn't she find? How could she fancy a divorced man like me? And the chairman helping her pursue me? Even more impossible. People at that level don't. They all value matching status. Commercial marriages. That's how novels write it. Countless thoughts flashed through my mind. Ultimately, I decided to dismiss them all, focus on work, improve myself. This was the most important thing now. Thinking thus, I turned back to the office, but just stepping through the door, I saw colleagues smirking at me. Team leader Jiang has recently hit a romantic streak. Brother Little White. Come quick and see. Young Little Wei stood by my desk waving, even specially making room. Only then did I see. On my desk was a bouquet of beautifully wrapped sunflowers, blooming vibrantly and fresh. I frowned, unconsciously, looking toward Grace The Na's office. After all, only she knew I liked sunflowers. But what I saw was her glaring at the bouquet, eyes like spitting fire. Not her. I paused a moment, stepped over, discovered a card tucked in the bouquet. On it a line in elegant script. To Zhang White, congratulations on your freedom. Signed Orosa. I raised a brow. If I remembered correctly, this was Orosa's English name. I pulled out the card, casually clipping it into my notebook. Young Little Wei grinned and sidled up, full of gossipy curiosity. Brother Little White. Which beauty sent it? I glanced over. Not sure. Mindless. Get back to work. He shrank his neck, stuck out his tongue, obediently returning to his seat. I moved the bouquet aside and sat down, beginning to review the charts sent by subordinates. But occasionally my eyes drifted, pausing on the sunflowers under the sunlight, finding them rather pleasing. In a flash, it was quitting tea. My report to headquarters wasn't finished. Colleagues left one by one, waiting until I finally ended the video call, only to find the office empty. Not quite empty. I turned my head, and saw Grace the Na leaning against the door smoking. My brows immediately knitted. Seeing me done, she stubbed out the cigarette and walked in. The thick smoke smell hit my face, making me extremely uncomfortable. Who knows how many sheds smoked? Her voice a bit hoarse. You absolutely had to come to Germany, for this reason, to abandon me for someone else. This groundless accusation left me somewhat speechless. I coldly replied. Just based on one bouquet, you conclude I'm involved with someone. By that logic, your intimate actions with Wang Fu-Kui, can I directly sue you for bigamy? Grace the Na glared at me, eyes full of disbelief. Since when did your attack power grow so strong? Her continuous words completely enraged me. I decisively stood up, unwilling to waste more time on her. Grace T. Na. All these years, I've indulged you too much, to the point you forgot. I'm not some soft persimmon to need. Don't forget. In university, I was debate team captain. Moreover, who I date, where this bouquet came from, I have no need to explain to you. One last reminder, I want divorce from you. Grace the Na, as if something touched her emotions. Immediately agitated. Why no need to explain? We're not divorced yet. This is exactly adultery. The moment her righteous words ended, the lines of text before my eyes began jumping again. Does the female lead still not understand the situation? Big Brother doesn't want her anymore. The female lead is just panicking and losing composure. She only cares too much why the male lead doesn't want her. Up to now, the female lead hasn't even thought to properly apologize to the male lead. I'm a bit tired now, even wanting to support Big Brother accepting a new relationship. If the female lead doesn't want, then I do. I looked through these lines into Grace the Na's slightly red eyes, memories drifting far back. The time right after university graduation. Grace the Na was far from the elite, earning tens of millions now. Her parents basically didn't care, just tossing her an old house, then disappearing. In contrast, my parents worried for me, using all connections and resources to support her. That period she and I saw each other little. Finally meeting once was hard. Then she was either handling work or full of work talk. Thus, naturally, people wanting to slip in appeared beside me. Some knew I had a girlfriend. Some didn't. Just when they attacked strongest, Grace the Na appeared. She held a bouquet of sunflowers even larger than today's, waiting for me at the school gate. Meeting. Without a word, she directly kissed me. She said, "Little White, wait a bit longer for me. I'll stand higher than all of them. Bring you happiness." Though I fundamentally had no intent to betray her, those words still made me very happy. So I waited until she became outstanding. Waited until she stayed out overnight. Also waited until she met Wang Fu-Kui, and even had his child. Recalling these past events, I only found them absurd. And Grace the Na, standing before me questioning if I was cheating, was even more laughably extreme. I lifted my chin, looking at her with distant eyes. Fine then, go ahead and sue. It can even speed up our divorce. After all, the house is hers. I have no share. We go our separate ways. I couldn't ask for more. Grace the Na's pupils contracted, her chest heaving violently, seemingly at a loss for words momentarily. I looked at her, as if seeing my past self, just as helpless, just as incredulous, just as heart-wrenchingly pained. Who'd have thought the wheel of fortune would truly turn? I curled my lip in a smile, paying her no more heed, striding quickly away, waiting until I reached the apartment building downstairs. Orosa was already waiting there. She leaned against a dark red Maserati sports car, smiling radiantly at me. "Brother Little White, did you like the gift I gave today?" I glanced at her, voice calm. "How do you know I like sunflowers? And you took the whole day off, just to send flowers." The smile on Orosa's face instantly collapsed, somewhat helplessly saying, "It's quitting time now. You're no longer my superior. Can we talk as friends?" I casually replied. "Even if not superior, I'm your senior. Counts as elder." Asking a few questions. "What's wrong?" Orosa's brows furrowed imperceptibly, retorting. "Senior yes. But elder no. You're only 6 years older." "What kind of elder?" I was about to say more. She raised her hand in a stop gesture. "Enough, enough. No more of this. The night is so beautiful. interested in strolling the streets with me. I looked up at the stars in the sky, truly somewhat tempted. The lines of text before my eyes appeared once more. Great. This is the feeling. This little girl really knows romance. Not good. The male lead isn't divorced from the female lead yet and already in another's considering the female lead has another's child. I think the male lead is fine doing so. I considered a moment. Spoke. All right. I'll go get the car. Orosa was stunned. Not taking mine. I smiled at her. Sorry. The steering wheel is something. You must hold yourself for security. In the end, Orosa and I each in our own car. One ahead, one behind, leaving the complex. From the rearview mirror, I watched the car following, neither fast nor slow, unconsciously calculating how to reject her. After all, toward a girl 6 years younger, I truly had no interest. Moreover, Orosa's and my upbringings differed vastly. I was too lazy to cater or yield. We were originally birds flying to different destinations. Whichever changed course for the other would feel uncomfortable. We endlessly drove around the streets until Orosa sent a message. Brother Little White, there's a bar street ahead. Shall we go in and play? I glanced at the brightly lit street not far, replied one word. Sure. Cars stopped. Orosa ran up from behind, asking me, Brother Little White, is your alcohol tolerance good? The white liquor here is strong. I recalled past times in the technical room. Also, many social drinking occasions. Moutai 40. 50 proof I could finish a bottle. Tolerance should be fine. I nodded to her. She then chose a bar and entered. Sitting down, she ordered a pile of drinks and snacks on the electronic menu. Brother Little White, the garlic chicken here is top notch. You'll definitely like it. I hadn't replied yet, when a voice interjected beside. It was Grace The Na. He hates garlic most. You invite without researching. I turned my head. Sure enough, seeing Grace The Na, dark-faced, standing beside me, I frowned. What are you doing here? Grace The Na completely ignored my displeasure, walking straight to sit beside me. Originally had some work to find you. I saw you leave, so I followed. She said, matter-of-factly, sitting posture exactly like when we were in love, arm habitually wanting to link mine, declaring ownership. I remembered when out with her before, her friends teased, you've got him on a tight leash. Afraid, Little White will run. She said it was habit, but now I extremely hated this habit of hers. I expressionlessly looked at her. Please remove your hand. Grace The Na's face stiffened slightly. I unyieldingly stared straight at her, determination in my eyes, clear. Finally, she withdrew her hand, placing it on her knee, then turning to Orosa, asking, I'll order one more to try. Grace The Na probably never knew in her life I didn't hate garlic, just because she once casually mentioned, allergic to garlic. So for years, I never touched it. Now I no longer needed to consider her. Naturally, anything was tryable. Orosa had been slightly hesitant. Hearing me, immediately ordered another. She turned to Grace The Na, smiling provocatively, her small canine tooth looking formidable. I also curled my lip in a smile. Since Grace The Na wanted to come make trouble herself, don't blame me for not saving her face in public. Even more ironic, Orosa added fuel to the fire, saying, Miss Grace, tonight I only invited Brother Little White. Pay your own bill. Grace The Na's hands clenched tighter, but somehow she still sat stiffly. I didn't understand what she was thinking. The lines of text before my eyes began flickering again. The female lead doesn't want to give any chance to approach the male lead. The female lead has lowered her pride this much. The male lead still won't forgive her. Big Brother did great. All past grievances must be reclaimed. When Big Brother was alone, she didn't care. Now, jealous, it's too late. Drinks and food were quickly served. The bartender was an Asian girl. After placing the food, she spoke in not-so-fluent Chinese to us. Tonight the bar has some games. Couples can participate and win big prizes. I immediately grew interested, asking her what games. Dart throwing, lucky wheel, and king. Orosa eyes lit up. Brother Little White, I can play all these, especially darts. What prize do you want? I'll win it for you later. The bartender girl smiled, wishing the three of you fun. As soon as she left, Orosa looked at me expectantly, trying to introduce herself. Brother Little White, I seem to know the dart game rules. Male-female cooperation, female blindfolded, male directs, hit the target for points. Later we play together, sure to win. Grace Na coldly interjected beside. Miss Orosa is quite knowledgeable about nightlife. Orosa paused a moment, smiling reasonably. Of course, young should play more. Much better than some old people, who only toy with feelings. Grace Na's eyes instantly sharpened, hands on knees, clenching white. Orosa. Why so hot-tempered? I didn't name anyone. Why are you raging? Orosa's lazy expression made Grace Na feel like punching cotton. I listened to their back and forth, completely unintervening, just slowly sipping my drink, enjoying rare relaxation. Since being with Grace Na, I rarely had social activities, always home caring for her, waiting for her to return handling chores. Life passed dully, now liberated, naturally must compensate for what I missed. My eyes turned to the front of the bar. Their targets and a row of prizes were set. I scanned once, pausing on a small red doll. I vaguely recalled. On young Little Y's desk seemed similar. Head probably like it. Tomorrow bring to company as a small surprise. I looked at Orosa saying. Alright, later we go play. I want that small red doll. Orosa immediately excitedly replied. Okay, then she followed my gaze to find the doll. Grace Na beside finally couldn't hold back speaking. Since when do you like strange things? Like that, Little White. Don't do this just to spite me. I was too lazy to mind her, but the lines of text before my eyes couldn't hold back. Female lead. Oh big brother, this isn't spiting you. He really wants it. Can you think from the male lead's perspective a bit? Her appearance is truly laughable. Poor female lead. Still thinks the male lead can't let her go. Remember one thing. Care represents like. This indifferent appearance of the male lead means he no longer likes the female lead. Seeing that last line, a question suddenly arose in me. The lines of text before my eyes kept flickering. Why can I see them? Moreover, their logical thinking, completely like real people. If they're people, what relation to me? In that instant, I thought until dazed, completely ignoring Grace Na's eyes, both sad and gloomy. The dart game quickly began, when the bar owner enthusiastically shouted, "Who is the first brave lady?" Orosa without thinking stood. Me, Brother Little White. Let's go. I looked at Grace Na beside, calmly saying, please move aside a bit. At the same time, the owner on stage smiled. Miss, your boyfriend is really handsome. Grace Na abruptly stood, interrupting. He is mine. What to do now? I looked at her somewhat annoyed. In our years together, she almost never had entertainment, let alone childish games like darts. Shed never touched. Where did this confidence come from? But her not entangling further suited me. I thought a moment, said to Orosa. Wait a bit, I really want to see what condition she offers. Orosa hearing this, smiled even happier. Okay, I'll wait for her to speak. This competing appearance of the little girl actually made me find it slightly amusing. I stood from my seat, walking straight before Grace Na, using the blindfold to cover her eyes. The owner handed me 3 darts, simultaneously, starting to explain rules, saying soon the target will move. Males can use any method to direct the female. Hit all 3 times to choose a prize. If lucky, all 3 bullseyes. The big prize $5,000 is yours. I nodded, signaling understanding. Just then, Grace Na, blindfolded, suddenly lowered her voice, saying, Little White, I won't lose. For you. This sentence made me lose focus momentarily. Seems before there was a similar scene. She also said such moving words. Pity old scenes, new people changed. Now hearing this, my heart had no ripple left. Waiting for the target to stabilize, I casually reported a direction. Southeast. The dart in Grace Na's hand was immediately gripped tighter. Such a vague direction. She seemed frozen instantly, not knowing where to throw. She probably finally understood my intent. I fundamentally wanted her to lose. She gripped the dart too tight, fingertip accidentally touching the tip, a bit of blood seeping. She gave a bitter smile. You really don't want to care for me this much. You must want me completely gone from your world to be at peace. But little white. I said it. I won't lose. Hearing her finish, a strange, indescribable feeling rose in me. But before I could think deeply, Grace The Na raised her hand. Dart left her hand, flying straight to the target. Hit. I immediately frowned. At the same time, the lines of text before my eyes began flickering. Worthy of the female lead. Truly has hidden talent. For the male lead, she's really risking life. Great. 1/3 chance seized. Next to surely fine. Male lead, don't make it hard for her. Give her a chance. Target moved again. I silent a few seconds, then coldly spoke. West. This direction even vaguer than before. Grace The Na's red lips pressed into a line. But she quickly acted. Dart left hand. Hit again. This time not just me. Even drinkers below started booing, collectively suspecting cheating. The owner, seeing this, hurried over, saying, "Sir, we need to check this lady's blindfold a bit." I stepped back, expressing, "Of course, no problem." Even I felt Grace The Na might have cheated. Others thinking so was normal. The owner very quickly personally changed Grace The Na's blindfold to a new. Perhaps his reputation here was good. This time no more booing. All attention focused on Grace The Na, waiting for my final direction. I glanced at the target straight ahead, directly giving a completely opposite position. Southwest. Grace The Na's body stiffened a moment, then truly turned toward where I said. My heart couldn't help sighing relief. Dart once more, left hand, flying toward empty space. And ding. Under my incredulous gaze, who could imagine? That dart hit the wall first, then bounced once, precisely embedding in the adjacent target. The bar first dead silent, then exploded in thunderous cheers. They no longer suspected Grace The Na, instead seeing it as some mystical Eastern power. Only Orosa shouted, "Too eerie." The cheers were the best proof. Grace The Na removed the pure black blindfold, in her eyes, seeming to sparkle light. Little white. Even heaven wants us together. The bar cheers made my heart numb. I seemed to hear someone say, "Love is so romantic." That moment, looking at Grace The Na, my mind suddenly felt numb, and the lines of text before my eyes now madly jumping. See. This is the female lead. Even something she's never done she can do beautifully. Come on. How could she never have done it? While Big Brother waited at home for her, how many times did she take the assistant out to play? Stop pinning that protagonist halo on the female lead. My big brother is the greatest protagonist in this book. Brother Little White. Brother Little White. A strong shake pulled me from the trance. I saw Orosa tightly gripping my arm, face full of worry. I unconsciously asked, "What's wrong?" Orosa tensely looked at me. "You suddenly stood still just now. I called you several times, no response." Brother Little White. "You okay?" I was about to speak when Grace The Na cut in. She pushed Orosa's hand away. Tone, icy. "Orosa, he is my man. Mind your manners a bit." Her tone full of obvious possessiveness, as if grasping some great weakness. Could it be because of that gift? I frowned, paying her no mind. Turning to Orosa, "My game with her is over. I want that small red doll. Go help me win it." Orosa immediately rubbed hands. "No problem." Grace The Na's face instantly collapsed, her eyes looking at me, like looking at a heartless man. But I paid no heed. The earlier lines had made it clear, this proficient dart skill of hers was practiced with Wang Fu Kuai. How could I accept a prize won by such a person? Amid the owner's laughter, I casually chose a prize. Grace The Na had won. Then with Orosa started a new round. Grace The Na, gloomy-faced, stood below the stage, watching helplessly as I directed Orosa time after time, and those directions far more accurate than what I gave her. The surrounding people's gazes toward us also grew more interesting. Perhaps the foreign atmosphere was more open, so to two girls fighting over one man, they found it not strange. Instead, watching intently, the game with Orosa ended. I finally got my wish, winning that small red doll. I smiled, holding the doll up to Orosa. "Thank you so much." Orosa glanced at Grace The Na, like a victorious general, head high. stepping down the stage. Miss Grace. Sometimes good skill is useless. Important is whether people are willing to give you this chance. Grace Theenaw's hands clenched, trembling. The meaning in her voice could nearly freeze others. Oh Rosa. If your professional ability was half your mouth, it'd be great. Orosa indifferently shrugged. Fine. I have lots of money. They can hire experts like you to work for me. These words extremely sharp. Grace Theenaw's face instantly chilled. She couldn't help looking at me. I only calmly looked back. That's it for tonight. I need to go home. Grace Theenaw hurriedly chased. I'll drive you. No need. I drove myself. Perhaps the continuous rejections made her unable to save face. She gritted teeth, saying, Jong White, you just agreed with me. I raised brow. Agreed to what? You said yourself. If lose no more entangling me. But I never said if you win I must accept you, right? So you not entangling me doesn't prevent me rejecting you, right? Finished. I didn't look back, striding toward the bar door. Without hesitation. One night passed peacefully. The next day I arrived at the company while skies still early. I placed the small red doll on young Little Y's desk, conveniently snapping a photo to send him. Sure enough, he sent back a 60-second voice. All excited screams and thrill. The ear-piercing shouts hurt my ears. So I decisively stopped listening, waiting until I reached my own seat. I saw on the desk a breakfast portion. Small steamed buns and soy milk. Smelling it seemed pork and scallion filling. I paused. The lines of text before my eyes began flickering again. This must be from the female lead. The breakfast the male lead likes most is this. Yes. In university they ran many shops to find this flavor. Correction a bit. This isn't bought, but the female lead made herself. In foreign land eating hometown taste. The female lead is very thoughtful. I stared at the still steaming buns a few seconds, then pushed it aside, just as I prepared to take the sandwich I made myself this morning. Grace Theenaw walked before me. She didn't look at me, only saying, eating this early morning lacks nutrition. Later if stomach pain flares not good. I'd long noticed her office door was ajar, so seeing her now wasn't strange. I only lowered eyes, saying, in future don't bother making breakfast for me. I don't like eating. Grace Theenaw silent a moment, then asked me, then what do you like? I'll make for you. I placed the sandwich in hand on the desk, coldly replying, no need. What I don't like is anything you make yourself. Understand? Saying that, Grace Theenaw's appearance seemed to suffer a great blow, but she still persisted, saying, I know you're still angry with me, but I'll prove with actions. I truly know I was wrong, and the child matter, I'll find a way to handle.